So week 11 of Virginia's football season, week 11 of our Cavalier Insider pregame show. Again, Andrew Packer and Jerry Ratcliffe. We now will break down the matchup on Saturday. It's at noon from Sun Life Stadium. Virginia coming in trying to break a 7-game losing streak at 2-8, 0-6 in the ACC, taking on a Miami team 7-3 and 3-3 in the league. And Hootie, I guess when you looked at this game about a month ago, the Hurricanes were looking like 40-point favorites. I mean, they were on a roll at 7-0. The U was back, so they said. Al Golden had it rolling down there, and they undefeated going into play a game against in Tallahassee against Florida State. And a lot of things happened in that game. Number one, they lose pretty handedly. Number two, they lose Duke Johnson. And since that time, they've lost 3 straight.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing for Hurricane fans, I'm sure. They thought they were in the picture for bigger things, and all of a sudden, with the NCAA cloud lifted, they thought it was going to be a great ending to a season, and that they were back, and obviously lost 3 games in a row since. It's kind of befuddling to me that, and I think even Al Golden talked about it yesterday, that Duke Johnson really wasn't the problem in the 3-game streak. It's been the health of their quarterback, and apparently he is healthier now, and he blamed that as mostly for their struggles and some defensive breakdowns. But it's still befuddling to me that they've lost 3 in a row, particularly losing to a good Duke team. But I thought Miami has more talent. Mm-hmm. And they just couldn't hold it together in Durham last weekend.
Yeah, Miami still with an outside shot to win the Coastal, but it's going to be tough. Obviously lost a big opportunity. Not only last week, the last 2 weeks, had Virginia Tech at home, lost that one in a big way, 42-24, and then obviously goes down to Durham, and Duke wins that 48-30 in what could have been the Blue Devils' biggest win in program history the last 20 years. I mean, in a long,
maybe
long
since
time.
Back in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, put it this way. They rushed the field at Wallace Wade last week after the Blue Devils knocked off the Hurricanes. So that's kind of Miami's situation right now. And obviously because of that, they, with an outside shot to win the Coastal, cannot afford any slip-ups. And Virginia does come in as a heavy underdog. But UVA does have one thing going for it. Mike London, for all his struggles against the rest of the league in his tenure at Virginia, he got something against Miami, a 3-0 against the Canes. Can this help Virginia in any way on Saturday?
Well, you would think it would help a little bit. I mean, they do seem to have Miami's number, and then maybe one of the most shocking Virginia win in my career here covering Virginia was when Al Groh and his guys went down to close the Orange Bowl down against Miami, the last game ever in Orange Bowl history. And Virginia was decided underdogs, and it was I'll never forget, Miami had all these fireworks and stuff ready for the end of the game, and Virginia blew their doors off. Yeah. It was like 54-0 or something. I can't remember. It was one of the most shocking thing that any of us had seen. So, I think it can help that you have confidence that you've been there, even though they're playing in a new place, and Virginia's won at Sun Gardens or whatever the name. Changes names every couple of years, but the fact that they've won there before, I think it does help your confidence a little bit. And again, Miami's reeling, so who knows? I would expect Miami to win, but it's got to help your psyche a little bit, knowing you can do it there.
Yeah, I guess if you're Virginia, you at least got to think at least you're due to win it, maybe at some point this season, or maybe not. And if you're a Miami fan, you got to think, well, you're due to eventually beat Virginia and end this streak. So there are some still intriguing storylines going into Saturday's game. Who's going to win it? We'll tell you in another segment.